You are watching Princeton TV's Megathon, a celebration of community media.
Hi, welcome again to Princeton TV's Megathon. We're live on the web at www.princetontv.org. And if you got Skype, just the password is CohenRon-1. We have some voyeur here on the floor. What are you like a foot fetish? What are you doing? Please, have some self-respect. Get this man on camera. Shame him. Whatever you do. That's Ruben who's taking pictures. And stuff. And also, if you originally there's going to be a date with me, in which it's a hot ticket. Even though I'm married, my wife would probably come on the date. But I might want to shift to the captain, who you've seen, and Ethan Lefkowitz, who's on about an hour and a half ago. You can have both of them at once for one date. Conversation will not end. I promise you that. It's a night of mayors. We have Mayor Marvin Reed. How many times were you mayor of Princeton Borough?
Well, I was mayor only once, but that was for 13 years.
There you go.
So that, I don't know whether that was lucky or unlucky, but I survived 3 elections and even an extra term there. So, but it's good to be back because I remember when we brought this studio over here to the Valley Road School from our little closet in the Arts Council.
Yes.
And I remember interviewing you in those days.
I must have talked funny even back then.
Well, I don't think you were as funny as you are now. I think you took yourself much more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You thought you were a real news.
Yeah.
Analyst.
I was like a new person. Anything with TV and camera, I was like, oh my God.
Well,
in front of it.
that's the whole idea about community television.
Right, but now I'm more loose, more glib.
All right.
I think hopefully my looks have improved. I'm more obsessed about that.
You're wearing a tie tonight.
Yes.
I had one on my way, but when I walked in the door, I realized I better get it out and put it in my pocket, or I'd be a little out of place. But
Can we reminisce, though, about, again, all TV stations seem to start in closets, and that was claustrophobic. I felt like I was Anne Frank, to be honest with you, in that place.
Well, we used to have to sit very, very close together on little stools because we didn't have much room, and when we started, we only had one camera.
Right. It was very primitive.
The whole idea was we knew that under cable television was supposed to be obligated to provide community channels.
Right.
And in the deal we made here with whatever it was called in those days, it was RCN before
CNA
Patriot
or something.
Media, RCN, back to whoever it was, that there were 6 community channels: Borough, Township, University, Mercer County Community College, Princeton Regional Schools, and there's supposed to be a public access channel.
Right.
And the whole idea of public access, that if the town was going to give away their lamp poles in their street for people to run cable television cables, then the town ought to get something back in return.
I agree, and I had a moment of silence for the late Barry Goldwater, because I think he was the one who pushed that bill. Being somewhat of the libertarian that he is, he wanted democracy on the airwaves.
Well, the other thing was that people were a little worried that if when you went into cable, that was supposed to multiply the number of channels that would be available. But people really wanted to make sure that just individual anybody ought to have the right to use television and be on the television, and how do you do that? And the way to do it is not just the big public broadcasting like Channel 13, Channel 12, but the idea that people in their own communities ought to be able to get together as volunteers and go on the air. And that's what we've been doing now.
Don't call me a volunteer. I am paid. No, sorry, go on. I have more.
You're probably paid psychically.
Thank you.
You get your kicks one way or the other.
I'm rich with the love and respect of all these people, yes.
Oh,
but anyway.
That's great. But I couldn't believe when I walked in here tonight how many people were here in the studio. That they're all over the place.
Oh, yeah. And the cameras and the setup, and we have two studios now. I got to thank you for that, too. You've always stood by TV.
Well, I always leaned on... I leaned on the Borough Council and the Township Committee to get start. I had a little time to coax them into broadcasting their own meetings, because they were a little apprehensive about that.
Well, it could be scary. I mean, you can be seen by a lot of people.
Well,
potentially.
I mean, this, I figure why not? If it used to be that the whole idea of a town meeting, that anybody should come to a public meeting and watch, but quite frankly, it's better if people watch from their homes. We threatened to put in dial-in so that people. I always threatened to have a telephone when I presided at the council meetings, and invite people to call in if they wanted to ask questions about what we're doing. But I never got away with that.
That would have been interesting. Democracy, because you
Real
have to,
democracy.
Real democracy with, as you know, as I know, everyone has a lot of opinions here, and some can be quite belligerent. It would have been interesting, or off kilter, so to speak.
Yeah, but Princeton just isn't as belligerent as some of the other towns.
It's not like
around.
Hamilton or.
Well, I don't want to say anything about Hamilton. That
They've had a little trouble with their budget, but anyway.
well, they did have a lot of trouble with their budget, and some towns get themselves grounded into much bigger controversies, and
Right.
we have one every once in a while.
But people are basically civil, and they don't get too personal.
Like every 10 years, we fight about the dinky, and everybody gets roused up about that. And we get over it, and then the dinky is still there, and it runs on time,
And then, of course,
we can get out of town when we need to.
right, which it is a luxury. They say it's the shortest commuting train in the country.
Well, it's only 5 minutes.
Wow.
So, and from end to end, it's 5 minutes, but it's a very valuable 5 minutes to get yourself out.
Oh, I think so.
Onto the Northeast Corridor,
Right.
and now up to Newark Airport and go any place in the world.
But is it a luxury? I mean, I've heard some conspiracy theorists saying that Princeton University grads in Congress, the Senate, keep it for us or something, that it's too
You know
expensive,
what?
it's not needed.
Whatever it takes.
Thank you.
Because
I like
there
it.
are rail lines running through the state of Texas and across the Arizona desert that are much more heavily subsidized by
Really?
the federal government than the Dinky
Dinky.
line ever is. And that gets enough people out to the Northeast Corridor in order to go where they want to
And
go.
they don't have to worry about parking or driving. You get just dropped off at the Dinky, the whole world's open to you.
There you
Get
are.
to the
And now-
airport.
And now we're the borough's starting, finally,
A
starting a jitney system, so you can connect from any place in the downtown area.
And my wife does not like to walk, and that was her prayer. Whatever prayer she had, I think that was her birthday wish. If she got downtown, she still doesn't want to walk.
She doesn't want to walk.
So she
Well,
can stop and wait for the jitney.
Well, that's all right. Then she has more time to work on the treadmill at the gym. So that
Yeah, she does that too.
Well, let's see. Instead of walking such long distances, you just
Wait for the jitney.
and watch television.
Right.
That's it.
What did you try to do when you had your show, when you were in that closet? What were you trying to do? What
Well,
were you hoping-
we started. Michelle Tuck Ponder was the mayor in the township, and the two of us
This is
started
early 90s?
early 90s. We started a program called Meet the Mayor, and we'd go on once a week, half-hour show, and I guess that was the idea, was to give a little sense of public service to public television, and and public access. But we'd have guests on, and sometimes they'd be people that were involved with us, like the police chief or somebody, fire chief, people in local government, or there'd be business people from around town, or just local town characters that we'd have on. But the idea was to get some community interest, and also to provide an interview show, because there were people that would come in and talk about movies, and there were people that would come in and do improv and that sort of thing. But there weren't too many people that did public issue interviewing.
Would you get feedback, though? Were you reaching people back then?
We did phone-ins.
Oh, really?
It was a phone-in show.
And-
And we'd get the phone would ring, and we'd talk to people on the phone. That was a little tricky because we didn't have a time delay or anything like that.
Gosh.
And never had to hang up on anybody, but I did have to cut a few people short because they obviously weren't interested in talking to me. They just wanted to talk. So it was my show, and they could ask
Right.
me anything they wanted. But anyway, we got through that.
Mhm. So it was a public service, though. So
Oh yeah, it was the whole idea was to fulfill the purpose of the station. I don't know, do they still do it?
Oh, we have call-in, but we somewhat abandoned it because we were just getting a few call-ins, and again, some of them were not that serious. I thought they
know.
were funny, but
Well, I think maybe call-ins on television have maybe had their day.
yeah, liability, and
Yeah, and that people interact with television differently than I guess there was a takeoff on call-in radio, which is obviously is still a very hot issue, but television, I guess you do live. If you're gonna talk to people, you want to see them, and that so you get people into your studio and put a lot of food out in the corridor and
hope they're spontaneous,
and then hope it's spontaneous
and
then
compelling,
and keep them here all night and tell them that they've got to stay on the air and can't go home to sleep.
I'm going home. I'm disintegrating. I let you know.
But you're coming back, right?
Coming back at 10:30.
You're going to be here
tomorrow.
all weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow I am.
Are you the Jerry Lewis of
No.
TV 30?
No, I'm not. And I don't have any cortisone in my body, and I'm not bloating. Jerry Lewis seems like the devil. I don't know why. When I see him, there's something about his character that seems
Well, I
kind
probably
of,
wouldn't recognize him if I saw
Oh.
him.
But
He's not quite as thin as he used to be.
He's on cortisone or steroids. He is like because he's lived forever, even though he's abused his body and had drug addictions and smoking and everything.
Some people have longevity built into them, even though they try hard to test it.
Yeah, and I've heard, I don't know if it's true that a lot of the money doesn't go to MS, but I don't know. All the money that anyone gives will be going to TV 30.
You mean anybody that contributes to TV 30, it goes right in here to your public station?
Yes, 609-252-2365. You're a smart guy. What advice do you have us to even grow even more? I always say we should try to carry things live, like a very important board meeting or something. But what else can we do?
Well, I tried. Part of the whole thing of developing community television was to cover the borough council meetings and the township committee meetings.
Oh, we have a telephone call.
And now here we got a call in. So,
Yes.
Gee, just like the old days, you're on the air with the mayor.
Yes.
Hello.
No.
No. All
Coward.
right.
Please call back again. No, I love you. Whoever you are, I love you. I want you back, and the mayor wants to talk to you. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Sometimes those meetings, I think the borough still, I watch them at home for sentimental reasons, and sometimes they're debating issues that I'm still interested in. But the whole idea is to make the public deliberations open and transparent, so people can watch it, and and then the council members would say, "Well, how many people do you know actually watch the program?" I said, "Look, it's not the issue of whether they do watch it; it's whether they could watch it."
Right.
And
right.
so that you don't have to know whether they're watching you or not. All you have to know is that you could be watched, so behave yourselves.
Exactly. I mean, the light, it's the sunshine law in a way,
Yeah,
the ultimate
and
sunshine law.
the only thing, one of the things that somehow we never got around to doing is that I'd always hoped that they would televise the planning board meetings and the zoning board meetings, because those are much more interesting.
Are you sure, though? It's
Oh,
so
yeah, I mean,
who can
those-
understand all the complex things about land and dirt and,
I know, but
rezoning that?
when you've got a room full of people that are very
Oh, yes,
unhappy
that's
about
true.
something and are determined
You're
that they're
not kidding.
they're
got Ron
determined-
Cohen in.
I mean, these are the gut issues as to whether you're
The ridge.
the
Princeton
ridge.
Yes.
Well, if you
That's
want-
conscientious.
That will automatically get you controversy and audience to listen.
So, Ron Cohen, why aren't we going live? I want to capture the ridge. They have a lawsuit now at Princeton Ridge. You know the story?
No, I don't
Princeton
know
Ridge?
that one.
What are you off meditating?
No, he just
I
decided to come
live
into the
in
show.
Lawrenceville, and we've been fighting. I've learned about the wonderful zoning board, and we're going to a town council meeting for the first time in Lawrenceville next
good.
week to fight for them to not
You-
put a cell tower right 2
Oh,
doors
your
down from our
neighborhood.
house. Yes.
Oh, well.
And it is interesting stuff because people that come there, the only reason people come to a planning board meeting is to complain
That's right.
and to stop them
That's
from doing
right.
something. So it is compelling.
But it's there. I mean, that's the whole idea of an open meeting. That
Well, the ridge, for those who don't... Oh, sorry, I cut you off.
what do you want to do on the ridge?
The ridge, though, why we should cover it, too. I mean, I've talked to a couple people on the pro Ridge side, i.e., they don't want any building, and I've talked to people who said they should have building, and they all have these really great arguments, and I don't know who's snowballing me, who's true, but I'm for one. I'm like, senior housing or not, that Ridge is pristine ecosystem, and it just should be developed. Luckily I don't have the luxury. Right now I'm not 75, and I want worrying about staying in Princeton, but.
Well,
Still.
I think we're looking at a lot of possibilities for senior housing in different corners of the town, not necessarily just up on the Ridge, but we're going to have some more opportunities downtown. Some of the developments that are occurring there.
What, Tulane, Warwick,
yeah,
the hospital?
the Merwick area, the borough, if it finishes its redevelopment, we'll have more rental apartments. Now, Palmer Square that's going to have really upscale housing for people that want to retire and be in the middle of town.
That's very expensive. It's almost like Manhattan.
Well, by the time you're old enough to retire, you ought to be able to afford it.
I'm going to have to keep working.
Well, you just stick to your television and work. And
with all that money I'm making. Why don't we take over Nassau Hall?
David Letterman can't last forever.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
They'll need a replacement.
And he looks like he's wearing a dress. He's getting the way he wears his clothes.
We have a call.
Oh, we have a call.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, you're on TV 30.
Hi, I apologize. I called before and I forgot my question. When you were speaking about the development of downtown and also speaking about, an issue concerning Lawrenceville, with the connection of Rider University and Westminster Choir College, how does this affect the, cultural significance of the opening of the Center for the Performing Arts on Witherspoon?
Oh, the new.
No, which you mean? Oh, you mean the Arts Council?
The new Arts Council.
Street?
Yes.
I'm hoping that it'll actually open up a lot of talent that the Arts Council can pull in to because what they're doing is really establishing Westminster Choir College as a true, basically, school of the arts for Rider University, and they've got some really talented students there in their musical theater program. And in their now they have a new opera program. I saw them last week, and a lot of those Westminster students then become terrific volunteers for the education programs, or just as performers to the music theater students. They're ready to perform in somebody's improv or cabaret almost any day of the week. So I'm hoping that it'll just attract that much more musical talent to Princeton, which is already a town pretty well full of it.
Was there a second part to the gentleman's question?
No, that would be it. I just wanted to hear the former mayor's opinion on the matter.
Great.
Yeah. Well, call again.
Please call again. Disguise your voice and call in. We need more call-ins.
See, I told you call-ins at work.
Well, you drew
That's
them.
what we used to do. That
You drew them, though. Okay, where does a Princeton mayor in the borough go to? You're not going, like you said, you're not in Maine.
I'm not in Maine. I didn't retire to Maine. No, I went on the planning board, and when I stopped being mayor, Joe O'Neill was coming in to follow me, and he asked me to, along with Mayor Marchand, if I would go on the planning board and sort of handle the whole issue about the hospital. Because that was when the question came up of should the hospital move. So we set up a task force, and we had a whole series of public meetings, and we went through this whole issue as to should the hospital stay downtown. And that there were a lot of people were apprehensive about letting them go. But then we looked at what it would take for them to modernize and upgrade themselves to state-of-the-art facility.
They have to be competitive, so to speak.
Sure.
Oh yeah, in this day and age, everybody wants to be in a single room, and you have to have loads of equipment in your operating room, and the operating rooms were about the size of this room, and they really need to be twice as big and all that. But what we discovered was that they had to keep the hospital operating while they built the new facilities. That meant that any new facilities would have to be built across the street. So they started taking out this block of houses and then that block of houses. And they finally said to me, they said, well, the town will let us use eminent domain, won't you? And I told the trustees, no, we're not going to do that. And
Is that Barry Rabner, who was the president?
yeah, Barry Rabner is a great guy, a terrific executive for the hospital. But when I told the trustees that we're not going to do eminent domain, and the townspeople really don't want you buying out all their houses, and I think that that convinced the hospital that it probably should move, and it certainly convinced the neighbors
Yeah.
that as much as it was nice to be within walking distance of the emergency room, most people who have emergencies can't walk, even if it's just to go across the street. So, but we got quite a few promises out of them to run transportation and to maintain a health information office there, and that. But it's enabled us to then think about that property as a major residential development, which I think will. A lot of the people that'll move in there will be retirees, senior
That'll be
citizens.
nice.
And 7 stories, has elevators and so forth. A bunch of the buildings will be torn down, so there'll be more open space there. But that worked out pretty well. And so I've just stayed and kept my fingers in other activities, and that's why I mentioned the Dinky, because that's one of my concerns, to arm wrestle with the university about what they want to do with the Dinky and what I think the town wants to be.
What does the
not
university
done to.
want to do with the
They want to move the Dinky station.
like 400 feet or something?
Some down the
About
way.
100 feet down the way.
No, it's more than 100 feet.
Oh, really?
And that's it. Yeah. So it's a ways down there, and it's much less prominent than what we have now. But we'll see where it turns out, and then we'll really test the public opinion.
Are they going to open up the building right next to where you used to be able to get tickets and everything, or at least stay warm? That's been like shuttered for
Well,
like
that's
500
what I
years.
keep telling them, that rather than building a new station down the line, they ought to be able to design the area so they can use those traditional buildings.
Yeah, it's there. It's
And,
already there.
Right.
But the university has its own view of what they would like to do.
Their own view. That's very diplomatic. when you negotiate with the university, do they come in saying, look, we have to deal with you, but we kind of have our own agenda, or is that am I just?
Well, they don't express it quite that way.
Oh,
It might look that way to you, but they don't express it that way. They talk about we've analyzed the situation, and this is what we really need to do.
need to do.
They need to do, and so that's pretty intimidating when they tell you that they need to do this.
Right, and they
And that,
have money and time, and they
Somehow
do
or
employ a
other
lot
they-
of people.
Somehow or other, they manage to find money.
Yeah, right, right.
And large amounts of it for impressive buildings. So,
But they do. I mean, sorry. Go on.
So why do they need to move the Dinky station?
well, they think because they want you to park in that garage that they built a couple of years ago. You know, the one down on the other side of the Dinky tracks.
Oh yeah, right. That big
And,
red. Yeah.
So that,
Okay.
and I'm trying to convince them that all they need to do is put a strategic grade crossing, just like they have on Faculty Road, so people can get in. If they want to let people park in that garage, they can do it, but they don't have to disrupt the normal patterns of the people in the community. And we'll see when we're gonna have a big meeting on the 15th of this month and start going through this dialogue.
Dialogue. I love it. Why can't we take Nassau Hall? They don't use it for. Why can't we put housing there in Nassau Hall or something?
Well, I
guess
did.
it's a
I did
suggestion.
talk to them at one point about putting a parking garage under the Nassau Green in front of it, and that would help solve our parking problems.
smart.
But they weren't really interested. They thought it might affect the trees, and they also didn't want to pay for it. So,
Gotcha. But to be fair, I mean, the whole thing's symbiotic. Town and gown. We need them. They need us. I don't know. What drives?
yeah, I think.
commerce.
I mean, they do tell us what. And they're pretty good at telling us what they mean to the town, and what a great cultural resource they are for the community, and likewise, and we try to impress upon them what a great community this is for the benefit of the students that go there.
And schools for living for their faculty and everything.
Yeah, I mean that's and of course that we're a very attractive town for them to recruit faculty. I never was quite aware of this, but over the years I've learned that just like any other business, universities are very concerned about not only attracting the right students, but attracting the right professors.
Sure.
And so have a town like Princeton that people really like.
Public schools are good if you want your kids.
Yeah, that's and I don't want to mention other places in the country where you could go on faculty, but
Harlem, Columbia, New Haven. Oh, sorry. It just came out. It just spit out really quickly. Let's give you a Princeton quiz, see what you know. Princeton University, what city in New Jersey was it originally at?
in Elizabeth.
Correct. That's very good.
Yeah.
What was the final score of the first Princeton-Rutgers football game?
Oh, gee, I used to.
You better know this, Mayor. I know you do know, but you
Was
might
it
be
9-6?
close. 6-4.
6-4. Well, that's not too bad.
Okay. What's another good question?
Yeah, I'm a Rutgers graduate. So
I am too.
so
on the
son of a
banks.
good
That's
guy.
right. But
Yeah,
you're
that's-
New Jersey
I
roots.
was a little bit ahead of you, but
I can't believe
I
that.
think you were a freshman when I
I
graduated.
think we could go on forever. And now I hear the music and everything coming on. Okay, quickly, about one question. How do you want to be remembered as mayor?
As one of the founders of TV30 and
Thank you.
Princeton Community Television, why not?
I think you should come back and have your own show. This whole,
There you go.
the whole 30 minutes have got.
Yeah, I think I've been out of office long enough, maybe that.
Yeah, you can give
But I
your-
think it'll be a little different.
And give your unadulterated opinions,
There you
maybe
go.
more tactfully than I would.
Yeah, I still have to be careful of that. I can't be too irreverent.
But not that you're old, but aren't you going to get to the point like, who cares? You know, what are they going to do?
No, I'm not there yet.
Oh.
I still care.
Oh, you
but,
do?
Yeah, I still want things to go right, and the things that I got started that I want to see get finished.
I got you. And you have to meet people.
You have to be diplomatic, and you don't. So that but I made a lot of friends during that time, and they're still nice to me. So
I got you.
we'll keep it that way.
There you
I
go.
got you.
Very good. See you again.
All
Well,
right,
thank you very much.
Larry.
The great Mayor Marvin Reed, 13 years, Princeton Borough.
Very good.
Yeah. And don't forget, are we off?
No, we're still on.
We're still on.
We've still not done anything to really coordinate these cuts. And who has to get fired
There
over
we
that?
go, there.
Oh, there we go.
We've gone to the other studio.
Ethan. Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
I mean, you
Very
should
good.
come back and do your own show again.
Yeah.
I just do it once a month. You'd be great for giving your own opinions.
All right.
Great music for you. Gentlemen, take it away.
I'm like the ocean. I'm like the last repetitive wave you see before sunset. Blind your eyes and penetrate. Well, I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling that I couldn't explain without reeling. Crooked and tan inside of my brain. I'm feeling tired and lonely because no one really knows what I go through every day, just so I can feel okay. The neon signs and lights shine down the endless fading moonlight. These impressive lights display in such a beautifully depressing way. She's like the moonlight, towing the tide every wave, stealing the sunshine, shivering lies and every rain. And I've got a feeling, she's got a feeling that she couldn't explain without revealing. The love that she feels, she needs to contain. She know she's so confusing, watching everything she's losing, because no one wants to stay when you're pushing them away. The neon signs and lights shine, tell the endless fading moonlight, these impressive lies displayed in such a beautifully depressing way. Well, I'm like the ocean, I'm feeling tired and lonely, because no one really knows me and what I go through every day, just so I can feel okay. Neon signs and lights shine, till the endless fading moonlight, these oppressive lies display in such a beautifully depressing way. I'm like the ocean, I'm like the ocean, baby. I'm like the ocean, I'm like the ocean, baby. Yeah, I'm like the ocean, I'm like the ocean, baby. And I got emotion, you're gonna sing before you say.
Thank you. Thank you. Get Down Souls. That was excellent. What was the name of that song?
Oceanic.
What is the significance of that?
Ask that man. It's about a friend of mine I know. Well, she passed away recently, but she was real close to me. But
Great. That's great. I just want to say we are back online. We had some technical difficulties. We did get that one song. That is welcome back, people of Earth, to Princeton TV's 30-hour Megathon, and we are very happy to have Get Down Souls with us.
What's up, chat room?
The captain is here, and he means business and everything like that. Why don't you guys? That's why I have the mic. Why don't you guys go ahead and do another song?
Scattergood. Thank you.
Let me just say, everybody out there watching, this is the greatest show ever put on by human beings in the history of mankind. And I am very happy that all of you are out there to share it with us. And we are here with Get Down Souls. Let's introduce, why don't you introduce yourselves?
I'm Greg.
I'm Nick.
Matt.
That was Tim, everybody. And how did you guys form up?
Mostly Craigslist. We went to high school for the same 4 years and met on graduation day. For some reason.
That's excellent. You can everything is on Craigslist now. You can go on there, whatever you need. Everything you need to form a band.
That's right.
That's how Get Down Souls got together.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy to have you guys here.
Thank you, sir.
Let's do another one.
All right.
Winding horizon, another day to instigate. Feeling I'm on fire, then I hesitate. Voluntary motion. Nice the shade of gray, feeling almost everything, then I hesitate, and I feel left out. Don't you stay? If I choose to stay. I feel left out. Winding the horizon, changing shifts, change the names. I'm feeling almost everything till I hesitate, and I feel left out. Don't you stay? If I leave it that way, no, not one day, I won't hesitate, but I feel left out.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you guys. That was a great one. And let me just tell you out there, I'm starting to feel a little tired. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to stay up for the rest of the show, for 30 hours. I am the captain, but even the captain has his limits. But at least I have some great music to keep me going. Get Down Souls. GetDownSouls.com. Thank you guys for coming. And I think we have time for one more. So why don't you guys go ahead and do that? Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Captain. Do you guys want to write the dreams? This is our new single called I Write the Dreams. Came out in 2004.
I write the dreams that alter reality, visions of hope and unfocused eye, scattering thoughts in monochrome, oblivion such a lonely disguise. I cast the shadows haunting your memory, I'll interrupt in fragments of light, and if the sun is vibrant, I'm the one who made it so. The dreams that alter reality, visions of hope and unfocused light, scattering thoughts in monochrome, oblivion such a lonely disguise. I cast the shadows haunting the memory, I'll interrupt in fragments of light, and if the sun is vibrant, I am the one who made it true. I write the dream, open your eyes to each color. So don't look to the sky. Oh, I just wait a minute. I like the stars that color the galaxy, patterns across the desolate night, absorbing her thoughts to filter the atmosphere, making the hair of light arise. I like the stars that color the galaxy, patterns across the desolate night, absorbing her thoughts to filter the atmosphere. I write the dream that open your eyes to each color scheme. I write the dream, so don't look to the sky. Oh, I just wait a minute. Visions of hope and unfocused eye, scattering thoughts in monochrome, oblivion, it's a lonely disguise. I cast the shadows haunting your memory, I'll interrupt the fragments of light, and if the sun is vibrant, I'm the one who made it so. I write the dream that open your eyes to each color scheme. Write the dream, so don't look to the sky. Oh,
Wait a minute.
just wait a minute.
Thank you. Did I mess up again? I'm really sorry. I'm not very technically proficient. Thank you very much. Get Down Souls.
Thank you, the captain.
Oh, you're welcome. Where can we see you guys playing in the near future?
I don't know.
Anywhere?
Empty bars.
Yeah.
Across New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
That's really the best way to do it. So
Yeah.
getdownsouls.com.
Yeah, just check out getdownsouls.com. Take you right to MySpace. You can link up with us and check out the schedule. And we're going to talk all cool like this because we're band guys and stuff if you come out to see us. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, fellows. Thank you, people of Earth. You're watching the Megathon.